All right, so the first thing we're going to do in this lesson is we are going to use Metamask to connect to our users' wallets. So we have a new Metamask action in Bildr that we'll be using. And then we will be able to get the wallet ID, and that's what we'll use to pass to the OpenSea API in order to get collections. So let's kick off the project. I've just got a new project here. We're going to start with a blank page. So we'll drop this into our scene, and we'll just call this home. And I'm just going to add a div so I can get some things organized here. And let's just add some inline styling. I want a padding around my whole div, and let's just call it 40 pixels. I want to put a title in here, so I'll use a heading, and I'm just going to call this, let's use the little diamond and call it NFT Chat Rooms. All right, so that'll be our header. Let's zoom out a little. And I'm going to add a paragraph here that just has a little bit of instructions. So I'll drop that into our div, and it will say connect to Metamask to see which rooms you have access to. All right, and let's add a button for our Connect to Metamask. So I'll drop a button in here, and let's add a little bit of styling to this, maybe just a little bit of padding. Like 10 pixels should be good. And in this button, I'm going to use the little fox emoji, and I will call this Connect to Metamask. All right. So what we want to do is when they hit this button, we're going to call the Metamask action in Bildr. And as I mentioned, that will give us the wallet ID. And then we're going to use that to make a call to OpenSea and see which collections they have access to. And then we want to load a list of rooms that are based on each collection. So below this section, I want to have a section where I would show the rooms in a list. So I'm going to add another div to our page here. And let's see, this one we'll call div Metamask connection. And this new one will be collection rooms. All right, so in this div, I'm going to add a little bit of styling again. Let's do 40 pixel spacing. And I want to put another header in here. And this one will say, let's do your chat rooms. And we'll add a paragraph under that. It says you have access to any of the below rooms based on the NFTs in your wallet. All right. And lastly, we will add a grid list. And we need a new page for our row. So let's add a new page. And we'll call this room row. Zoom back out. Okay, this room row, I want to make the width like 200 pixels. I'm going to put a div in here for some styling. And we'll do like 10 pixels padding. And let's do a margin of 10. let's do an outline. So I'm going to do a 1 pixel solid line, and we'll make this like a light gray color. That should be good. And let's also round it. So we'll add a radius of 5 pixels. All right. And then we need our text for our room name. So I'm just going to use a text paragraph, put that in my div, and this will say room name. All right, so back in our main page, in our grid list, we're going to set the row page, which is our new room row. So there we go. We now have our row page set, and we can see that our rooms will be loaded into this list. And now we're ready to connect it all. So let's start with the Metamask button. And when we click on the button, let's go to events, and we're going to add a new event. Actually, I'm sorry, we're going to use the click, and we're going to say new flow, and we'll call this connect to Metamask. And for the action, we're going to search Metamask, and we're going to use this one under Web3 connect, Metamask connect and get wallet ID. So we'll add that into our scene, and we will set a variable. Let's just call this Metamask wallet ID. I like to do camel case. All right, so we have our new variable, and we're going to want to trigger actions on success, rejection, error, all of those. So let's create some new flows. This one will be Metamask success, if I can spell it right. Metamask success. Let's create another one. Metamask rejected connection. Metamask error. And what was the last one? Account change. Okay. Metamask account change. And for each of these, basically what I want to do is just change a status message so that the user has some feedback as to what's going on. And we'll just use this text field here that has their instructions. We'll use that to update the status. So that's what each of these flows will do. So on error, let's add an action here for Metamask error, and we'll use element set value. And the element we want to change is this status message. And we'll want to say error connecting to Metamask. Please try again. So that'll be our status message for error. And since I have a few others that I want to do the same thing and just change the status message on, I'm just going to copy this action. And then I'll go into my other flows. So let's do rejected connection and just paste the action in here. And then all I have to do is change the value. So on this one, I will say you rejected the connection to Metamask. On account change, paste this in, and we will just say Metamask account changed. And lastly, for success, I'm going to paste in a status message that just says Metamask connected with the exclamation point. All right, now the other thing that I want to do on success is I want to show their wallet ID somewhere so that they can see which wallet they're connected to. And I'm actually going to use the button that says connect to MetaMask to do that. And so I'm going to use set value again. but this time the element that I'm going to change is going to be my Connect to Metamask button. And for the value, I want to have the wallet ID. So let's say from a variable, and it's going to be on our current page, and it's going to be this variable that we just created, Metamask wallet ID. So now when we connect successfully, we'll see a success message, and this button will then update to show what our wallet ID is. One more thing I want to do before we test this out. I want the chat rooms section to be hidden until the successful connection, and then I will show it. So on my div that holds my rooms, I'm going to go into styling, and I'm just going to add a little bit of inline styling on the layout. Under display, I'm going to set it to none. So by default, this will be hidden. And then if I go into my MetaMask success action, after I update the wallet ID, the last thing I want to do is display that or show that section. So I'm going to use element show, and I will pick my rooms collection div. All right, so now we want to test this out. And again, what we expect to happen is on a successful connection, it will load those rooms. So I'm going to go click on preview, and then I'm going to select my home page as my landing page and hit set and open in live view. Real quick, one last thing that I forgot to do is in our success flow, we've got all the actions that we want, but we haven't connected this to our actual successful path on MetaMask. And in fact, all 4 of these paths we need to connect. So under my Connect to MetaMask flow, there's actions for each of these. I'm just going to go through and tie these to the right one. So action for success should go to MetaMask success. Action for rejected connection, error connects to error, and account change connects to account change. So now each of these will trigger when I'm testing and go through each of those paths. So let's go back to preview, and let's select our homepage path. All right, so we have our preview page here, and we have our title. We have our instructions that tell us to connect our MetaMask wallet, and then we have our connect button. I'm going to go ahead and click connect to MetaMask, and it's going to open up our MetaMask extension. It's going to ask which account we want to connect to. So I'm going to select this account, and then it's going to ask me to verify. And when I click connect, we will see our status message has updated. So it says MetaMask connected. Our button has now updated with the wallet ID, so we can see which wallet we're connected to. And it's now revealed our section below that has your chat rooms. And this is exactly what we want. This is the section that we're now going to load our rooms into. So if we go back to our steps here, we've now connected to our wallet using the new MetaMask action. The next thing we want to do is take that wallet ID and make an API call to OpenSea, which will allow us to pull our collections in and create a room for each one. So that's where we'll start in the next video. We'll pick up with connecting to OpenSea and pulling in our rooms.